we're thinking about doing it, or we're gonna do it. And I don't know that. I guess that's got to be the first stumble, right? We just stumble out there and see what we get back. See, this is the operational part of it that gets trickier. The idea is good, and we want to do these things, but actually, the organizational part of it becomes much more difficult. When the where and when, she'd like to know, but I mean, she can tell us we can't do it that night. But we've got to at least come up with either dates or days, October, November, or November, both of them. It doesn't matter. But I think, I mean, Mark, you've expressed some interest in working down south with Charlotte.
My only concern down here is that if we don't get a good representation from Braden River, because I don't know what it's going to be, then we're done, because there's no other teams really around us.
Well, that would leave us to Pinellas Hillsborough, which is an easy. That's kind of a no-brainer. We'd have to find a place, but the fire prevention place, and then maybe out east, Alan, at FYSA at Auburndale.
Yes, I think that'd be a good idea.
Because we don't know, but if we get 70 kids, now $400 for 60 or 70 kids. If you get 100, it'd be better. But that room that we always go to can hold 100.
Yes.
And if we get more than that, the embarrassment would be that you get more than that. Well, well, it'd be wonderful to be that. Now, I don't know if FYSA will grant us that, and I think Sherry, they probably have some of the equipment we need.
Most likely.
Well, she's used it in the past, so I mean, she's given us a lecture in that building. So we just got to now figure out, do we want to make it a Tuesday or Thursday night, and can FYSA do that, or a Sunday afternoon, can FYSA do that? Well, we should go through Dave. Greg, Mike, how do you think we should proceed next to get to Dave for the spot out in Auburndale?
Yeah, I would go through Dave and just see what he says. That'd be probably the best thing.
Yeah, rather than go at it directly with Rosemary and those guys. The second place, so that would leave us out in the Lakeland, Winter Haven general area, and then one Auburndale, and then one somewhere in the Pinellas Hillsborough area. Greg,
how many we get? 3? We get 3 meetings?
We get 3, but Mark had suggested, I think it's a good idea, holding one back for the college showcase or right around there.
Oh, yeah.
So to tie that one together for the third one. So I told her.
How long is their presentation?
I don't know, an hour.
Hour and a half? Hour and a half?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think anybody could talk an hour and a half and hold anybody.
Oh, she can.
Mark, how long was it at the AGM?
Oh, it was just, I don't know. I think it was, those were all like a half an hour, weren't they?
Yeah, well, some longer. I mean, the one she did, I can ask her, but I think at 45 minutes, what we're going to get, Greg. I think she has, I don't think you're going to hold anybody any longer than that. You're not going to hold somebody for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Unless we leave it for question and Q&A, then and we can get to her. The question is Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Yes, no? What do you guys think? I got no idea how to do it. I know we should do it. And I don't know how to do it successfully. We maybe stumble on this one a little bit and figure some stuff out for the future. Or find somebody other than her, things like that. But
okay, so we got FYSA Auburndale. What's the other site you want to take? You want to pick?
Well, it'd be then the next one would be to hit the center of your area. You hit Pinellas Hillsborough on the same line as the airport.
I'm trying to figure out who's got a meeting room big enough to
Well,
hold.
the fire prevention guy, that's one of them, that guy over in Pinellas.
Merritt, how many can hold in there, Merritt?
Oh, they can get a pretty good bunch in there, I think.
Yeah, well, if we use the one, they have like a big break room, which will hold a ton of people. We just need more chairs. Then they have a regular presentation conference room, which if you squeeze them in there, they got a bunch of tables in there, but they could probably, I don't know what their legal limit is.
All right. What's the address? What's the address for that place?
In the big room, you probably put 150 people.
Yeah, it's off of 19 in south of the Gulf to Bay. I don't know the address.
Almerton and 19.
Okay, thank you.
What's Almerton Road? What, 688?
Yeah,
Piper Fire Protection is the name. Piper Fire Protection.
Piper, that's it.
Piper Fire.
There's a guy over there. Do you know him, Merritt? Are you friendly with him?
Oh, good friends, yeah.
All right. That's one place that always has let us. Now, the first question is for them and FYSA is what days. So, well, you can't do it at night. You can, and there might be limitations. So we've got these places. So tentatively, let's call those two the places.
Well, what the problem you have right now that I think you overlooked is that high school season is kicking in. Okay.
Right, you
If
can't.
If you do
find a
it,
place outside.
what I'm getting at is we got to do it before October 1st.
You'll never get it before October 1st.
You'll never get everybody together then after that because they all play on different nights. Pinellas, Polk, Hillsborough, they all play different nights.
Yeah, but Saturdays is usually okay. Saturday nights.
Saturday's probably not good, Mike. It's Sunday, she suggested.
Sunday nights.
Maybe Sunday evening, Mark. We don't even know if we can get these places at that time.
Well, I know I can get Piper Fire pretty much most evenings. Of course, they got a business there, so they're only good at night.
Yeah, well, that's all we're going to do this at night. So we try for Sunday evening.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, that's all we can do is fudge along. We got to make some decisions because and it's going to be October, November, Greg, because you're not going to be able to set up before that. Every time we talk about something, it's another week or two later. By the time.
Okay, Sunday's not an issue then, but what are you looking at, 7 p.m.?
But no matter what we do, we've got negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do it early. I would do it earlier than 7. I would try and do it.
Yeah, I would too, Mike. I think 4 or 5 is good, right?
Is that okay with you, Merritt?
What, 4 or 5?
Can you check with Greg, can you follow up on this, or do you have time to follow up on this?
Yes, if I got it. Okay, Piper Fire Protection. I know the FYSA number.
I'd say Piper Fire, I usually meet in there around 7:30 with no issues.
But Sunday, if we could get in there at 5.
Oh, yeah. Sunday shouldn't be an issue.
All right, we're looking at 5 o'clock then?
Yeah.
I mean, unless somebody's got a better idea. I'm not I don't do this, and I don't know how it's going to go. We're going to try it. But if someone has more experience than me and a better idea, please
We can also
say something now.
for outside of town. I'm thinking Wesley Chapel, Temple Terrace, Rangers, Hernando area. That maybe Wesley Chapel can use. We can
A little far for the Pinellas people, though, Mike. We only get one spot.
I thought you got one. So where's the third one?
Third one's going to be close to the college showcase, so probably wherever that is. It's gonna be that's what we thought. Now, again, I'm not wedded to anything, Mike. I do anything that makes sense.
Just so you know, after having a bunch of meetings, we're going to be out of there by 4:35 if all goes well for the showcase. 4:35 the final whistle will blow and we'll be moving out of there. Now, if the weather's fine, I don't see an issue why you can't do it right after the game, right there.
Well,
Right.
Do you think so, Mike? Isn't that too much? I mean, the guys have played, everybody's, and
I think you got to do it during the session, at lunchtime, or something like that.
because don't forget,
When everybody's still there.
you're trying to get more people in just in the showcase.
Well,
what we got now is lunch for the boys starts at 12:30.
I wouldn't try and wrap it into the thing. I think just around that college showcase, I'm thinking, right, Mark? Was it you that suggested, or was Kai that suggested it? I'm not sure.
No, I suggested it because I just thought that those kids are the ones going to be really interested in it because they're coming to the showcase.
Well, Mike, that's not a bad idea. They're going to take lunch from 12:30 till the boys will kick off at 2:00. So they roughly got an hour and a half. So they can eat and listen for 45 minutes. That makes sense? Providing the weather cooperates.
Well, and possibly we would be able to have a facility available at the place, right? I mean, would they be?
Possibly. But then moving the kids back and forth, the timeline starts to get skewed, and we're in the darkness. We're in the darkness already.
The third one we can do in the spring. I mean, it doesn't matter. Whenever we can get the people's heads, spring or fall, it doesn't matter. You're really educating them with this first thing with Renee. That's the first. It's like you having a meeting with your parents, except that someone that has bad news that looks like an authority, instead of someone that has bad news and is an authority.
All right. Well, let me work on this for. Give me a date. Put a date out there. Throw a dart. Somebody throw a dart. Somebody throw a dart.
I gotta get a calendar here.
From my computer.
October 15th?
No. Is that a Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
October 15th, Sunday.
Yeah. And then
Well, you
want to do next one, November 5th.
sounds good. You know, the second we do this, you're going to find out it's Saint Stanislaus Kosta's birthday, and no Lithuanian or Polish people go out on that day.
Yeah, I know. Because you just we picked the date. We picked the date, and they either come or they don't.
Yes.
I don't know how you're going to get anything.
Like all stuff, if we don't try it, if we don't do it once and learn or see there's no demand for it, then we can stop wondering about it at our meetings. Hey, we should do this. We're going to do this. We'll see what happens.
Okay, Sunday evening, 5 p.m., October 15th and November 5th.
Sounds good.
That's
okay.
Great. Good.
The 15th will be FYSA Auburndale, and November 5th will be Piper Fire.
All right. Jessica, are you here?
Jessica's there, but she's muted for some reason.
I'm here.
Oh, all right. There you go.
All right, good. So we got 6. We've got 1, 2, 3.
Hey,
we got 6.
Greg, what time do you want Piper Fire?
5 p.m.
Well, 5 is. What do you think? 5 is neutral, right? It's not bad.
Both are at 5 p.m.
Well, sure. Normally your local team will be off.
5 o'clock. Okay.
Get it for 2 hours. That's the max. And we need certain things. We'll go into that. You've got her email, I think, Greg. If not, print it.
Yeah. She needs a couple tables. Well, here's the thing. Okay. She needs a couple tables. She needs a projector, and she needs manpower at the desk so she can take emails and sign them up or whatever.
And she needs a system of amplification. Am I correct?
Merritt, do you need a microphone at Piper Fire? Merritt? Merit.
That's all right. We can get one of those things if we have to, Mr. Mike.
Mr. Mike.
Sherry, we don't have anything like that, do we?
We do not, no.
But we do
We have
have,
the-
you
we
do
do have
have
the
a system. You do have a system which can project from a computer to a. So, Greg, or somebody, Sherry, somebody, we need to contact her and say, "Here's what we got. Is that good for the projection part of it?"
Merritt.
Okay, sure.
Merritt, you there, Merritt?
Yeah, I'm back now.
Do we need a microphone at Piper Fire?
Do you need a microphone?
Yes.
No. It's not. I mean, you can put bodies in there, but it's not a. You don't have to project too much. No.
Okay. And Paul, the fact that they use a microphone at there's only 8 rows of people there, for God's sake.
Do they use a microphone at the Regency meeting?
They have it, but they don't need it.
Okay, so there's one there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, they don't need it
So
though,
the Piper
because
if we had to rent one, that wouldn't be the word. I mean, that's got to be.
anybody that's there for the peanut gallery never uses a mic to talk.
Yeah,
So,
then she's got to tell us, hey, I can do that directly from, my.
Right. You know, at FYSA, they're going to rent you that room.
Yeah, they're not going to give it to us. I know.
So you might as well get a microphone.
That's okay. I mean, if they're going to do that, that's fine. And then every time we have a good idea, we're going to charge them for it.
Well, and I'm telling you, FYSA, they'll charge you because they charge FSR.
45 kid rosters, and we'll charge them $600 for consulting.
I'm just.
Hey, Mike.
Our team of experts.
Mike, you remember the system that we used when at Liverpool at your field? You remember that, Mike?
He's locked up. It's locked up.
Mike's frozen. Okay. Anyhow, just for kicking us around, Sam's Club has 2 very nice speakers on a pedestal with a microphone and a soundboard, and I think it's around 2 1/4. It may be less. It may be a good purchase for us to have for in the future.
I wouldn't buy one to start with. It's just more shit that you got to carry to a meeting. But we certainly can lease. I mean, we certainly can rent one for one night and see if it works. If we need it, then we buy one. If the rental probably costs us almost that much.
We can probably go rent a bullhorn, couldn't we?
Mike froze. Mike's frozen, and
we'll look like Bull Connor, you know.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
Okay.
Well, maybe we can borrow one from the protesters or something.
There you go.
We'll either get the protesters or the clans, one or the other. I think in Auburndale it might be easier to get the clans.
Oh, yeah. I'm
kidding, Alan. I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
I'm not.
I mean, they've got one out there. Let's investigate that, though. Let's find out what they do have. If we can use the room.
I'll be right back, guys.
If that night works, you know. So, did we lose Greg?
He's coming right back.
He bailed out for a minute.
I think he's just getting a drink. All right, so we got that on the way. Sherry and Greg, can you follow that up? And anybody else, Mark and Alan, if you guys want to help, they'll reach out to you. All right. But I think let's try that and see if it works. We'll start. The Piper Fire is fairly. I mean, even guys in Hillsborough County can get there pretty easily on Sunday for something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I will follow up with her about the equipment and.
Yeah.
It sounds like Greg's going to handle the booking.
Because the equipment certainly she used at the Region 3 AGM, Sherry. So whatever they had there, I think was theirs. And then I would tell her what we have, and is that adequate for the projection point?
Right. Yeah, I'll take care of that.
Don't worry about the tables as we get there. We'll figure that out. I'll grab a couple from FC Tampa. That's easy enough. All right, let's get into the things. I guess, Sherry, the biggest thing is a lot of the. That's the only thing I've got for business tonight that we probably needed to kick around and just get a direction. We also have a list of issues, I guess, over the placement or conduct at the games. Yes, sure.
I have one issue that needs a decision. Mm-hmm.
What about junior season? Is that solved? Do we still have the problem with how many kids we got in that one division team?
Well, I have various things that have popped up that I from the meeting, the list that y'all gave me, those are all in the right places. But then every division seemed like there's maybe extra teams in there that weren't on the list, or we've gotten some emails about teams pulling out or what have you. So, but I don't want to start with that because I'm trying to get it organized.
All right. But the other question is the one thing we can know. The one fella has opted out because he didn't get in the first division. And
that was one of the issues. Yeah.
Mark, you were at one of those. I guess you were there. Maybe not because it's two of you guys were running it. But apparently,
what team is it?
TBU.
Yeah, he wants his money back, and I think we have to. I mean, I would make a motion that it's why we fine people to pull it out of the league is punitive. It's not because we're saving money or it costs us money. It's punitive. After we go through the meeting and get everybody set, after you do that, we're not going to give you your money back because it's a punishment. It's not because it cost us anything, or because that's the argument they're making. Well, it didn't cost you, haven't done anything. No, we set all the teams and gone, and now if you leave after that, we keep your application for as punishment.
It's a cost of disrespect.
Well, yeah, Mike, it's just a disincentive for somebody when they go to the meetings to say, if I'm not in, if the guy was in Division I, it didn't look good right then, they could have said, you know what, we're out.
Yeah, but I remember a TBU team that didn't show up and wanted Division I in the girls, and we chose the coach that was there. I think it was a Liverpool coach, and put his team in there. It was a new team that hadn't played before. Is that correct?
It's a team that hasn't played in USA. Now, I don't know why they were not accorded a Division I if they wanted it, but there's a reason.
Well, because we wanted to keep them at 8, and we didn't have enough.
You had 8 legitimate guys in front of him.
He had other teams that had the right to the throne, yeah.
Oh, so that's good enough, right? I mean, that's.
Had he been there, it would have been between him and Liverpool. Got to go up.
That's good.
Went up.
So I guess this discussion is whether we give him his money back or not.
Yeah, that's the first thing. He's requested it, and I don't myself.
No.
Be in favor.
No.
And then the other.
No.
Okay.
That's voted on.
Usually,
So along this line, me and co-author Mike Connell, we'd like to make a recommendation. We discussed this over adult beverages at over a few adult beverages at non-affiliated clubs. When they register, ought to pay substantially more, and either 10 teams or more or whatever. But we're the stepchild because we allow anybody in. 1 team, 2 teams, 3 teams, TBU, 1 team. So
we've always, Merritt, that the league was set up on that premise.
And that's fine. But should they? So we got a league. We got a club that puts in 20 teams, and then we got some guys that come in and put 2 teams, and they get the same. They pay the same entry fee.
Oh, I would argue that you're encouraging people to put teams in by keeping it the same. Yeah. Why would you make a disincentive for smaller clubs?
Well, then you get guys like this that want their money back.
Well, they're not getting it. Look, Merritt, those guys. Let's say who they are. Clearwater, TBU, and West Florida all would not put a team in a league if their life were dependent on it, unless they have to. I mean, whatever we're seeing from them is desperation because they got 40 teams.
I froze up. I'm freezing
I
up.
know that already. I mean,
Yeah, what they're given.
put in is something they can't figure out anything else.
Well, they have to play the fourth or fifth team somewhere that they have, or third or fourth team. So they bring them to us.
Or
So they bring them to us, and that's perfectly fine. The problem, not the problem, whatever, how it is what it is. But maybe you look at their attendance. If they are a voting member, then they get accorded, some kindness along the way.
Well, I think we do. I mean, I
But
wouldn't
they're not
make
a voting member. TBU is not a voting
I'd be
member.
against making a formal bylaw. In other words, we already know the deal. None of us are. We all are sophisticated enough to understand the situation right now in our area. There were large businesses, Lakeland being one of them. Lakeland doesn't put any teams in. If they did put a team in occasionally, we would not tell
They
them.
got one team.
But Greg, that's not a reason to punish them. It's just a reason.
No.
We understand that when things don't work the way they want them to, if that league tends to, I mean, everybody bitches about the league being sucking the CDL, but nobody cares if the league sucks because they don't care if the players don't get a good experience. Screw the players. They're not there for the kids to have a good experience. They're there to take in money. And if the kids don't have a good experience, screw them.
Yeah.
And you know that about them already. So,
I think that we do need some kind.
I mean, what I wouldn't encourage is a pissing contest with them because we understand where they're at now. They may not be there forever.
Agreed. No, I agree on that.
So the question was if he would be allowed to withdraw without penalty.
Well, maybe
No penalty.
maybe
We just don't return his money.
maybe we have.
Because I know Steve had recommended a $300 fine, but we're not going to do that, right?
No.
We're just not going to refund his
I
money.
wouldn't. I mean, again,
Yeah. He's past the scheduling date. He doesn't get his money.
But we're not going to fine him on top of it. Because that was the question.
No, we haven't started playing. I mean, myself, look, we can find him. You guys want to find him. It's not up to me anyway. But, I mean, I think we
Just
start
don't give him his money.
to look punitive. We don't need to. We understand what those guys are. We've got 500-plus teams without them.
I guess the question is,
Who cares about them? We lost you, Mike.
Okay, so then just no refund, let him withdraw, correct?
Right. No refund on the registration.
Yeah. I mean, that's the punitive. That's the part of it. Hey,
Okay.
once you put it in there and come to the meeting and get a spot, we're assuming you're serious about it. We're seriously going to put you in a spot, and then we'll go from there. And, an interesting thing, Mark, is that in the email, the guy claimed that he did have, it looked like Larry Farrell's daughter. If I'm right, it's Farrell, the last name. I don't know if it's his daughter or not, but says was at the meeting. Yet Sherry said no one picked up their packet.
And Joe and I, after every division 1, 2, and 3, we said, "Is everybody good with that? Put up your hands if we've called your names." And then and I know this is the one because this was a coach at 2 other places before, right? And this is his 3rd one in 3 years. Is that the same guy?
I don't know who he is. I don't know. Does anybody know him? I don't know the coach.
His name is John Duncan.
Duncan. It's a familiar name. Merritt be the one who maybe knows somebody over there. Because this is over in Palm Harbor. I'm assuming this is where these guys came from.
Yes, correct.
And it looked like the guy, John Duncan, referenced a Farrell, which was spelled the same as Larry Farrell's
daughter.
last name. Yeah.
But
Is it
she
his
said-
daughter?
Apparently she made the comment that she didn't really know because she was with Largo.
Well, so I mean, they sent somebody that really wasn't part of the team just
Right.
coming to pick up and they didn't pick the packet up. Am I correct? Nobody signed for their packet.
I can look at the sheet.
I thought you told me that though, so I'm
No, I just said, well, yes, I said that. Interestingly, TBU didn't send representation to any of their meetings.
Okay.
Yeah. They were one of the few people that did not.
Well, I saw the Largo guys. I mean, I saw Al, what's his name from Largo?
That was Al Sousa, yeah.
Hey, and Larry.
I'm talking about the other one.
Yeah, the Palm Harbor one.
Palm Harbor ones, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who
Yeah,
that
they didn't
was.
come to any other meetings.
Yeah. But we only got one team of theirs, or no, did we get more?
No, they have more than one team.
Okay.
Yeah, they have more than one. Okay.
All right, so that's solved. That's we're on our. Now, what was left out of that, Sherry? They can't now go to the 5 and 5. You're going to have to. Did you mash them together in one division with 9?
I'd have to look at it. I thought that we were going to just leave it the way it was.
Well, because you can't. You get, if they had 5 and 5, they first of all were 6 and 6. They had 15 games. They're playing each other 3 times. Mark and Joe obviously got that through these guys, and they said fine. But now, with one missing, that doesn't work. Now those guys get 12 matches, and they're playing 3 times. So for me, I mean, if there was one less team, Mark and Joe would have probably made one second division wherever they happen to be, which is a roly-poly, go all over the place, or, depending on where you are in this division, you'll travel or you won't, depending if you get a home game or not. So I would always be in favor of larger merged divisions than 5 guys in a group. For me,
we gave all the teams that were in question. We asked them that question every time.
Well, they didn't. You didn't have a guy drop. I mean, you had so 5. I could see him saying 3 times 5. That ain't bad. But
that's what we said.
Now the one set's not going to get that. They're going to get 12 games, not 15.
Right.
So what was promised as we left, not that you promised them, I mean, what our promise is for the 275 is you're going to get an adequate amount of games to play. So if we leave it with that, we leave that group pretty slim. That to me is not good customer service.
Yeah.
It's U11 girls, right?
I think it's girls, isn't it?
Is it boys? No, it's girls.
No, it's girls. I thought it was 12.
That was Joe and I.
It had to be 12, Sherry, because they had some way to judge from last year as to what was supposed to be in the first division.
Well, the email says 2006. TBU 2006 girls, Palm Harbor. So that would be 11s, wouldn't it?
Well, and Mark, how would you guys, not that I care, but how would you have determined that there was a spot?
Because we kept 8 in Division 1.
No, but I'm saying the 10s didn't have a record. I mean, he had no record.
The one that I'm talking about was a TBU guy, and he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And we did have a past season to go from.
So it had to be 11, Sherry. It couldn't have, because the 10 girls don't have a past season.
Okay. Well, then he's just calling himself the wrong age in his email.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm looking at the division right now.
Yeah, what does it look like?
But see, I don't even see him in here. That's why I'm confused.
Well, did you drop him out already?
No, I don't think I did. Tampa Bay. It's not the Largo one. No.
No. It was North. I thought it was 12s. That's what I was under the assumption that it was 12.
So in the 12s, there's 8 in Premier, 5 in D2 North, and 5 in
That's the one.
South.
But they don't have 5 because that guy's not in. That's what they did. They split it, and everyone said good. 5 isn't.
But I don't even have him in here, so maybe he already withdrew.
We did have a couple. We did have some odd divisions, 6 in one, and 5 in another.
Well, right now I have 5 and 5 in D2.
Okay, so it's 12 and 5 is 12 matches. Is that what you told them, Mark?
Yeah, well, we told them that they would play each other 3 times, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
So Sherry, is that what you're doing with those 5s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if they tell me that's what they agreed on, yes.
Okay.
So I haven't ran the schedule yet, but I have all the
Yeah, it's
divisions.
funny they're not in though. I mean, that's,
Let me, I can look up, let me look at their team application real quick. So it's,
All the emails that I got from that guy were for the 2001 boys.
oh, this was girls. This
no.
was girls. I think it was
No,
6. I think
it's
Sherry got-
I'm looking at
to 2006, I think he said. It was John Duncan. That's exactly.
2006.
That would be under the 12. That would be under the 12.
That's what I think too. But they're not there.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up their application, but you can keep talking, but
That's all
I'll
right.
look.
But
See what
anyway,
they
so
did.
we're not going to give him his money back, and we're going to try and make those divisions make some sense, and we'll go from there. Sherry, what else you got? You had something else though you wanted.
Yeah, the one red card situation, game number 1244. Maybe Greg, I don't know if you can pull up that game report.
Yeah, hold on. That's the one with,
With the two boys that got into a fist fight, and
right.
the question was, the one, it was clear he was 4 games, and then there was discussion on the other kid.
I
And
always thought that was 5, Merritt. Am I correct? I always thought fighting was 5. Am I
no,
correct?
it's 4.
Right.
And
So they both get 4. I mean, right?
well, you said to put it out to a vote, and it came back split. Exactly split. 3 said 4, and 3 said 2.
Who didn't vote?
Who didn't vote? You?
Okay. I said 4. Well, let me explain about red cards to everybody. I don't have an opinion. If anybody needs to if there's, first of all, there were guidelines. That's the first thing we check. But I understand there's things that happen beyond the guidelines. Beyond the guidelines, Mike, Kai, and Merritt and Greg all have played. I mean, they're the guys to really advise us. I'm good
Right.
with anything they tell me. Merritt's got the referee background. Mike's played for 1,000 years. Kai's run a club. He's been involved. Greg's been a referee and stuff. Not that Greg's not on the board, but I'm just saying as a recommendation. If those 4 guys, any of them tell me something, to me, I'm thinking, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they've seen enough of this that, if we got to vote, I'm happy with that. But I mean, let's go to the guidelines first, then for the.
Well,
But don't win the Merritt or those guys, right away, unless you get something that doesn't make any sense. Because I realize some of these things don't. They
the
don't
one
follow.
was the 4. There was I think a 5 game, but it was like you had to call the police. Actually, it was 6 games. You had to call the police and.
Yeah. Well, my son got it. That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah. But the one reason was the way the write-up was done was the one guy was pulled away. They were separated. If they both got in a fight and exchanged some fists, okay, you would be equal. But the one guy was pulled away. He actually broke loose and turned around and entered back into the fight.
Right, but the question was about the other kid. Shouldn't he get 4 just because of the fight itself? He didn't go back in the fight. But
No, that's why I was going 2 and 4.
okay. Well, if it's 3-3 and we need a vote, I vote 4.
Or we can make it 3 and 4, just a little bit different.
Okay, all
There you
right.
go.
There
That's
you
a good
go.
option.
I like that. Yes.
I like
Okay.
that option.
I'm up for that.
That's a good option.
So I already gave him 2 and told him we were going to discuss it, and I'd let him know. So I'll tell him he just has 1 more.
That's game 1244.
Okay, thank you. And then back on the one we were just talking about, TBU.
Yeah.
It is there. It's TBU green, which I was looking for north.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So there's 5 in D2 north, 5 in D2 south. If he pulls out, then that would leave 4.
Yeah, see, and to me, that's not a acceptable number to throw at guys. Guys left the meeting thinking they had 5. When it gets to 4, you're really wondering what it's kind of, for me, that really is pretty chicken shit.
So you want me to make it just a group of 9 then?
It's up to everybody else. My suggestion, I would I would opt for a nine.
That's 16 games, right?
14.
Yeah.
14. I wouldn't make any more than that. If some people don't play twice, that's okay. You know? But they're only 12-year-old kids. If they don't, you know. Now, someone at the end of the year, if they get screwed out of it, they're going to say they didn't play everybody. But the fact is, you almost can't put it. We don't have 16 dates.
Yeah, but Paulie, we're using the standings for the next year.
I know, Mike, but you still can't. In other words, you got 16 games to work for us. And it's just too many.
Yeah, too many games. Hey, one thing Mike and I had talked about when we were doing was if we had 5 and 5, of course we don't now, but everybody would play each other twice, and then the third time the winners, you know, whoever was in, you know, first place would play first place, second place played second place.
We've done that and we were successful, but I'll tell you something.
That makes it tough.
That really screws Sherry, and it doesn't leave them much time either. By the time you figure out who that is, you've got to recreate a whole nother schedule, get it out to everybody, and have them. It's not that simple. In other words, the way God Soccer makes schedules. Now, there's a guy, the Greater Central Florida guy, said he has got a format for every single possibility on Excel or something. So when I get a chance for next year, we'll ask him and see what it looks like. He said he'll send it to us. But the fact of the matter is that when you do that, you really end up with a very difficult mid-year issue.
I know, we've done it in the past.
We have. But too many. In other words, one of them you probably live with. When you get 2 or 3 of them, you really are past the point of.
Well, this was only one, would be.
And well, it's one that you had. Mark's got maybe one also, not Mark, but that girls' age group could have had one also, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the formats, in other words, you give them 14 games. I think we give them 14 games. That's it, or that's what we attempt to do. In every age group, no matter how many kids there are, no matter how many teams, we're giving them 14 weekends. And if it's asymmetrical in the second and third division, oh well.
Paulie, I'm trying to understand why they can't play 16.
Well, because, Mike, then I would want, why not give them all 16? In other words, every time you get to 9, what about 10?
Well, but
we give them 18?
Yeah, but that all depends on how many players are in how many teams are in the league. But
my
they
argument,
are playing tournaments. They're playing two.
To me, it doesn't matter. But the fact is, if you keep it at something uniform,
2 days.
you're not going to have the argument that, hey, he got 16 games. Why don't I get 16 games?
Yeah, but I got an argument that says that if you want me to go into the under 13s and I didn't play that team, why would I not go up into the under 13s if I'm in the top 2 getting promoted?
If for some reason you've got that argument, then we'd look at it ourselves. You, me, and Alan and Merritt and Kai and Mark will look at it and decide if that makes sense or not. That's a lot easier than giving them 16 games. 16 games is difficult, man. Mm-hmm. We got 14. Now we say, well, if we do 9, we got 16. If we do 10, we got 18. If we do, oh no, we can't do 10. We got. You're starting to play with the.
Well, you just said that. You just said on the group of. You just said on the group of 5, they're gonna play 12 games.
Well, that's all they can play, right?
Well, they can play 14. If we wanted to go to the 14, we can say, well, we have to play 14, and so we're going to make up 2 games so you can play 14.
A group of 5 would have to play themselves 4 times each. It gets to the point of being. To me, look, they can do anything they want, but once you start to say 5 teams,
what I'm saying.
You're coming into a league, and the league says, well, yeah, you're going to play each other 3 times. And say, shit.
But you can't say 14, everything has to be uniform 14, and then say they can just play 12.
If there are not enough of them, it would make sense you play 12 rather than.
Yeah, but what's the difference between 12 and 16?
The idea would be not to have 5s, to me, or 6s.
No, I understand. 12 and 16.
The idea would be not to have 5s, to me, or 6s.
12 and 16. 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 12
I wouldn't, if it were me, I wouldn't have it. I'd have larger's always better. Always.
But if we are working, if we are believing that relegation and promotion is a value of the league, we're going to have to give everybody the opportunity to prove that they are relegation or promotion. If I'm in the third position,
I understand the argument, but if that only works for a team that is not getting promoted, who happens to have an argument that they did not play, or I played two tough teams. Very rarely are you going to have that situation where that third team is going to be on the nipple and have a negative asymmetric result.
and third has to play.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play, if everyone has to play home and away,
Third is behind on goal differential of second.
well, I'll tell you, before we do this next year, what we should do then is to say,
But if I'm in the third position, Paulie, if I'm in the third position on goal
absolutely. And you say to me,
differential,
I should go forward.
then what? Then I'm gonna have to go up. Then I'm
Mike, what I tell him is life's
have to go
not fair.
up. As with the other.
Because you don't have that kind of symmetry normally, Mike. It could be, but you don't know that that's the case. If we're going to play,
they would prefer to.
well, then you got to keep them at 8, Mike. Then you just 8, and then you got to let's say when we get to do D2 and D3, we have all kinds of non-8s because we have numbers that don't divide by 8. So you're saying, well, what happens now to the 3 that get left off of the 8? Because we only can play 14 games and we have to play everybody twice. And see, that's the problem we have when we're there, Mike. We've got 10 teams, 11 teams. What do we do with 11 teams? Well, we've got to have an idea before we go into those things as to what happens between 8 and 16.
So Paul, we made suggestion, and you didn't like that suggestion about not so much the reshuffle, but the way you have teams 5 and 5. We've made, so we're trying to accommodate, but yet trying to get them in the number.
Merritt, I've got 11. I've got 11. What do I do? I got 12.
Okay, well, I know you can keep changing the numbers, but we got a scenario.
But that's what we get. In other words, as a league, we get asymmetric numbers all the time. Every single second and third division is not 8 and 8. Never. I mean, occasionally. So we end up with having to make a decision now, like this year, to say, here, because you got to tell them, here's what you're going to do. You're going to play 18 games or you're going to play 6 games. There has to be some symmetry to what you offer them. If you offer them all 14 matches, and I've said to groups, you realize if we go this 12 rather than 6 and 6, you're gonna play. It's gonna be asymmetric. You're not gonna play everybody. Everybody was fine with it. Said sure, okay, we got it.
Okay,
so you understood before you went in. It may not be good.
So we're at 5 and 4. So where are we going?
How are you gonna? How are we gonna go back to a team with a 4th division and have any credibility? To me, right?
How you go back is you tell people that we had a team drop out and now we had to.
Yeah. So now you get
evaluate.
Now you get 9 games.
You got 9. Yeah. So you got 9 teams, or you got
16 games.
For me, I don't like. For me, I would not vote for that. But I mean, if you guys want to do it, it's fine. Then let's just put up to a vote, because to me, you start having 14 divisions. I say, you know what? That league is so horseshit, man. We played the same team 3 times, and we got 9 games in for $275, whatever it was.
But we've decided to go 9 to a division of.
So Mike, you go 9 and play 14
9,
games.
and so the question is, do the 9 play 14 games do they play 16 games? That's the only question.
I would have them play 14.
Why? Okay, so we can go to a vote. 16 or 14?
Well, or 4 or 9. Now they play 9. The other guys are going to get 3 more games in. See, I want to go into the other division because they get more games. So now who's going to answer that one? You know, in other words, once we set it,
Where are those teams? Where are those teams located, Sherry?
The four teams.
Yeah.
Could you,
Yeah, give me all the teams, all 9.
All right. So So in the north, you have Braden River, Premier, St. Pete Raiders, Plant City, Tampa Dynamo, Auburndale. And then in the group of 4 now, you have Wesley Chapel, FC Tampa South, West Pasco, and First Hernando.
that's not bad travel, Mike. I mean, that's not that
Yeah,
bad.
but that's what I'm saying. It's not a bad travel for 16 games.
No, but I mean, again, I would never exceed 14 matches. But you can, if you think you have to have it, then do it.
But I mean, let's just go to vote. 16 or 14. That's that.
Well, let's put it this way. Do we change the amount of games dependent upon the teams we have? And then we've got to say, with those amount of teams, let's tell them how many games they're going to get. That's the same thing, right? With 8, you get 16. With 9, with 8, you get 14. With 9, you get 16. With 10, how many we give?
Well, I think.
18?
Yeah, but I think, well, we don't have to go to what ifs because we got the facts here. So we can go to the group of 4 and ask them whether they want to be part of a group that plays 16 games or whether they want to play 12 games.
They aren't going to get 12. They're going to get 9.
Well, 9 games. So that's what you tell them. You say, do you want to play 9?
Well, yeah, but I mean, let's go back to the original thought. Why tell them anything? This is what happens. This is the division. They'll say, what happened? They'll say, we want to play 9 games. We put the division together where we should have been in the first place, maybe.
Well, let's just vote. Let's just vote.
All right, so 16 vote. 16 games. Aye, put your hand up. Say yes. 14 games. Aye.
14.
Who else? Kai? Is this
14 and 16.
It's hard. It's hard. I don't know.
That's why you're on the board, buddy.
Listen, is this? I just got lost. Is this a D2 division?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under 12.
Could we bring up a D3 team to balance out the division?
There is.
Now you're going from. I mean, now you're gonna. I don't know. I mean, somebody's got to start calling it D3s.
Well, that'll balance it out. Then you don't have to worry about 16.
Well, it'll balance it out at the D3. At the D3, Alan says, "Oh yeah, I want to only play 12 games. I want to." No, I like it the way it is. I'm playing 14 games. I'm playing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I don't know.
When you tell them you want to switch, you've got to tell them what the ramifications are.
Yeah, I know.
You ever sell a customer, you say, "Don't worry about what's in the box. Just
No, don't answer. Yeah, no questions. Yeah.
don't look in the box. Let me send it to you."
Yeah. Trust me.
Yes.
Yeah, trust.
And you got to give them a product that's reasonably uniform.
Well,
So
if we have
basically-
9 teams, that's play each other twice. That's 16 games, right?
That's, to me, to be honest with you, if you're not going to bring up a D3 team, you have to do that. You have to do that.
2 16s with Mike. Anybody else is 16.
Yeah, I combine them 16 games. That's about the only option you got.
You're the 2. Kai, 16 or 14?
16.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 3. That should do it. How about you, Mark?
I
don't
I would-
care. I'm going to vote with 16.
only because I know teams want to play more tournaments.
I'm going to vote for the 6. I'm going to vote with the 16s. We got 3-3 tie. I'll break it. I'll say 4-2. How about Jessica?
16.
Okay, so there we go.
Yeah.
Now, is it every time we have 9, we want to give them 16 games?
We've been doing that. We've been doing that. We did it this week. We did it this weekend when we had 19.
We haven't done that in the past. Merit, as a matter of course. Are we going to do that? How about 10 now? Do we give them 14 or 16 in that? When we get another month, let's figure that out, because that's what you want to know when you go in there. Say if you got 10, you're going to get 14 games. If you get 11, because we have that, all the D2 and D3s, you have asymmetrical non-8 numbers, almost every one.
Well,
And
you know, you've already you are discounting the little bit of extra effort that we got to do. And if that's something we as a league have to do, and I said it's not me, it is Sherry and Greg, but if you got 10 teams, we split them 5, then the top teams come and play each other.
so on every 10, we want to split them up and have a crossover. Is that how we want it? Because we never have. We don't have any rules for this, Mary.
Huh?
We don't have any rules for this. We're doing this on the fly as we're sitting there. That's how we're doing it. So we should, before we go in next year, say if you have 10, no matter what, we're
Put
splitting
another
up.
division in the bylaws that here's our division setup.
Right. Well, we should tell them, if you got this many in there, here's the way it's going to look. If you get this
Right.
many in
There you go.
and then just lay it out, then we don't have to talk about it anymore. Here, you got 12.
Then we won't have anything to argue about.
Well, we're not arguing. We're getting to the truth. Well, that's the way we're going to get things done, Merritt. You got to have dissonance. I don't mind the 16. I think it's a lot, but I think once you get outside of the 14, you start to get people that say, "Well, they got 16, I got 14." I don't understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I got
But that's
17 games, and they got 18 games. I only got 14. How come? And we don't have to tell them. You say, "Shut up, get out of the room." You point to them and have somebody come in and take them out. All right, so we're done with that, Sharon.
They tell TVU this is why we keep the money, because they cause us a lot of grief.
No kidding.
All right, next.
Okay. So, like for example, today we had a lot of games canceled yesterday for weather.
Yeah.
And I'm never clear if the referees are going to get paid or not.
Here's what happened to us. The game got canceled before halftime. The referees got paid because they showed up and they were assuming they had a game. And so they were there. They went as long as they could. The game was canceled. They got paid.
Well, if it's canceled, like the fields are closed and I notify everybody ahead of time.
That I don't know. Merritt, someone doesn't get there, Sherry, and everybody gets notified at a different amount of time, right? Sometimes the referees don't get notified at all.
Acts of God. Acts of God. You can't do nothing about, all the rain. We got a hurricane out there. We got a lot of rain. So
you show up to the fields, if you show up to the fields, no one told you there wasn't going to be a game. There's no game. Do I get paid?
is there anybody there?
I don't know.
Well,
There's some homeless guy there. Right?
Yeah, probably not. Probably nobody's there.
Okay, there's no one
that
there.
brings to a point that I had a coach corner me, and I think Mark was in on it. Is if they show up before the game, everybody's there. It's raining a little bit, and then they haven't. Maybe they start the game and play 10 or 15 minutes, and then the home teams, or then the referee abandons the match because it's not a suspension. It's you call the game because it can't be played. Unplayable. We have it in our bylaws on page 19.
Right.
So the coach was asking me, well, I know I'm responsible. It says home team's responsible to pay. He says if we reschedule that game because it was not played, and then I'm forced to pay the full referee fee again. So he's paying
That's exactly what happened to us.
he's paying $280 for one game referee fees.
Wow.
That's correct. That's correct.
That's correct. So
Or we just stiff all the refs. Screw them. I'm in favor of that.
no.
All in favor, say aye.
We'll have a lot of refs for that one.
Well, he just wanted to think about maybe modifying the bylaws, if the first game is a legitimate unplayable, they get there and they had to pay the referee, then the second game, they split the fee 50-50, but yet the home team still, they're paying, the anyway.
And the away team's paying a half for no reason, right? So they're having to pay half a game.
And they have to drive back. Right? The away team.
On what now?
The away team has to drive back.
He hasn't shown up, Guy. I mean, this Waynell thing is not. I mean, we're out in who knows where. I mean, we got to.
Everybody's got money.
Someone write up a set of rules that works, and then we'll adopt them. That's the simplest thing. Anyway,
All right. I'll write something up.
So tell us when exactly to get paid and when they don't get paid.
Yeah, you see, I mean, for me, if the referee is going to get paid for the first game that doesn't get paid, he is still part of the partnership for that game. The team shouldn't have to be penalized to have to pay again for that referee.
I agree.
I agree with that.
So if another ref comes, it's not the same ref. We don't pay the other one, Ron.
Well, why would we not have the same ref?
Well, because it's 6 weeks. Right?
Yeah, but we know that it
I mean, you got to tell Jim and those guys then to get the same ref for the center.
Yeah.
It ain't happening.
That's the odds of that happening.
Yeah, but let me throw out this. 2 weeks ago, one of our teams out of St. Pete travels to Winter Haven.
Oh, those guys, man.
Game gets canceled because of lightning. So that's a good hour and 15-minute drive from St. Pete, right? So the referee gets paid, but the team from St. Pete doesn't get compensated for the gas money they got to put in again, driving back again.
When did it get abandoned? At what point in time in the game?
It never started.
It never started. Oh,
No.
Okay. All right.
But again, what I'm saying is the referee gets compensated, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's go to the problem. Who causes the lightning? That's who needs to pay.
There you go.
Yeah, but I think the acts of God. The team shouldn't be penalized twice for something they had no control over.
And we shouldn't be paying anything for an act of God.
Do you think that would put any referee on a rainy day probably figuring I'm not going to drive out there and take the chance?
Well, then, so then why would the Kai's team go back to Winter Haven? Why doesn't it just I don't want to go?
No, well,
so I don't want to play the game. I'm not going to play the game. I just don't want to play the game.
Well, let me.
Mike, that isn't going to. I mean,
there's a fine. There's a fine for the team not coming out to play the game.
Paul,
But you can't get the game.
Is it fine?
Can't get the game scheduled. No, he can't get the game scheduled. He tried to get it rescheduled, but his high school teams and everything, they can't get the game in.
Well, then he'll be regulated.
Well, but that's the issue. That's why we're here. If you're going to have a league, you got to have some standard for play. If it is that,
we're all going to be in partnership with that, Paulie. I think that I don't think that the home team wants to pay twice for a game that they had no control over.
Merritt, let's say so we tell Merritt, here's how to drive it up. The ref doesn't get paid if the game isn't fully played.
No, well, here's the deal, Paul. What we don't have, and I'm telling you, it's a simple fix, is if everybody shows up, and this happens in high school, basically they just get a travel fee. And the travel fee, that's the travel fee, just, to compensate the referee. He's an unaffiliated.
Who pays the travel?
It could be like $20, $25.
Who pays it?
Who pays
it?
Who pays it?
Who pays
the fee? To who?
The ref. So the home team pays the travel fee.
Merritt.
He's frozen.
You're froze again.
Well, listen, I do think that we have to get this meeting through quick because we got bad weather here, and this is going to. I will have no connection here soon.
Well, this payment for referees has been a problem, but I mean, it's not paying them for me is crazy. I mean, it's just crazy because
I got cut off.
If I was a referee,
if I was
I
a
cancel
referee, I
game.
wouldn't like it.
Yeah, but if I was a referee, I would also cancel the game at the slightest opportunity because I'm going to get repaid.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, what does he just call ahead and say, I don't like what it looks like? Oh, Kyle, you're laughing, but that's what you're going to get. Right?
Well, then you know what?
But then he wouldn't get paid because he didn't show up.
Well, no, he canceled before, right? He wouldn't get paid.
Oh, he didn't get paid because she didn't show up.
So I missed some of the conversation.
But Merritt, I like your idea of a travel fee.
Yeah.
The question is who pays it?
Who pays?
Well,
I mean, as a whole league,
the league
I
can
would,
pay it.
I would gladly pay it as a
Lord,
club.
Huh?
I would pay it as my club.
no, I mean, Merritt, every time it rains, we're going to have you know.
Well,
I
you
got
know,
it. FEMA.
well, at least it's only a third of the cost, and it is a travel thing. You know, just $15. That's all I charge them to go all the way to Orlando. You know, it doesn't have to be a lot of money.
I like that. I like
Well,
that.
hey, Greg, on
Yeah.
Monday, would you get to the our assigners and tell them here's what we're thinking about doing, seeing what they think.
Well, let me throw this out as well. Now, when we're talking in our league, you usually have the ARs are local people.
Yeah. So who cares about them?
They just drove around the corner.
So, they were trying to.
They just the referee. And if you paid him $25, and that's the travel fee.
All right. So if the game doesn't finish, we pay him $25. That's it.
Now wait a minute. If the game doesn't,
No. That depends when the game gets finished.
No.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Greg.
Eric, we talked about this. If that goes into the game goes into the second half, if the score reverts the first half, he gets paid. He's been paid already. Game's done.
Done, yeah.
Game is over with. Now, if it gets abandoned in the first half,
We don't pay him.
the first 20 minutes,
No,
he's already gotten paid for that 20
minutes on
minutes.
an under 10 game or on an under 11 game. Which games?
Doesn't make a difference.
Okay, so 20 minutes in, regardless, they get paid. If they don't get 20 minutes, they don't get paid.
Because they get paid before the game starts.
They get paid before the game starts, Paul, and it could be 10
But the
minutes.
guys at our field don't.
What's that?
Guys at Schimberg don't get paid before the game starts.
That's their problem. That's
So
their
guess-
problem.
Well, so then what are we arguing about? The guy shows up, he gets paid, he's got the money. It's got nothing to do with us then. What are we worried about him for?
Well, it's called integrity, Paul. And the thing is, if
Greg, if we've already paid him, what's the difference then? Why do we care about?
No, I'm talking travel fee for a game that everybody shows up, it's lightning, or the club has failed. You know, you get there and the county or the city shut down the game. Close the fields. Everybody showed up. Okay? That's what we're talking about.
And what I was actually referencing was today, I probably canceled a dozen games, but before the game happened. So I sent the notifications out. So in that case, they don't get paid, correct?
correct.
They shouldn't have traveled.
Yeah, you sent out the messages. Yeah.
Right.
How long ahead did you send the messages out?
Because I got the field closure takes me about 15 minutes.
No, but I'm saying how much before the game starts.
Well,
That's a problem we have.
like some were maybe for a 4 o'clock game, but some may have been an 11 o'clock game, and this was at 7:30 this morning.
But we're talking about now a guy shows up, the field, it's threatening, right? The things are there. He gets lightning and says, 20 minutes of lightning, a half hour, an hour of lightning. He says, we're not going to play the game. Well, he's already got his money. So why are we worried about what he?
Yeah, but I mean, Paulie, the question is the policy. He may have the money, but why should the club have to repay that referee for the game that wasn't played? He's got money there for a duty that he didn't perform.
Well, I'm 100% in favor, so we just don't pay the ref for the next game. May not be him.
No, Paul, you're throwing into the scenario something that doesn't happen. I don't take the money until before kickoff.
Someone just said we pay them before they go on the field. We don't
before you
remember,
blow the whistle to kick off. It's you pay them just before the game starts.
okay.
Everybody knows the game's going to start, and you pay the referee. And then you start the game.
The player passes are checked. Everybody's getting the final assignments. You go to the referee for payment, and then you begin.
So the referee gets paid. So we should set up. Then there's got to be some kind of a bylaw, at least some information. Don't pay the referee until the check-in.
Correct, but you're assuming the game's going to start. So if the game gets started, the procedure is, let's say we get a lightning, we start waiting out the lightning strike. You get 30 minutes on the last strike. You wait 30 minutes. So you guys decided, the coaches now, we put it usually as a referee, okay, we've waited an hour and a half. How much longer you want to wait?
Right.
And then you ask the coaches, and they agree, we're looking at the radar, nothing's going to happen because it's socked in all day. It's going to be terrible. So let's just call the game. We'll abandon the game. So the coaches made that decision. Basically, let them.
No, the center's got to make that decision.
No, he's telling them it's unplayable at this point in time. Okay, the last time so part of our policy is we wait a minimum of 2 hours or whatever the maximum drive time there.
I've never seen that.
No. We had USL Pro. We had in the referee manual was, okay, if a game is delayed to weather, you wait. You wait the 30 minutes for lightning, or you wait a maximum of 3 hours. To get the game in. So that ahead going in.
Is there a time that you got to start that matters, Merritt?
Yeah, from the kickoff time.
Okay, so the kickoff's supposed to start at 4. You wait till 7 at night. The other team says we got to leave. What do you do?
Well, I said that was one league. We could make ours an hour and a half. I don't know.
Okay.
So today at FYSA,
does FYSA have a rule?
Today at FYSA, FSPL games at Auburndale. So they must have been scheduled, 15 games, 20 games. They called the games at 10 o'clock. They closed the fields at 10 o'clock.
Okay, but they closed. All the games are closed.
Yeah, so all the games. Now the question is, did the referees get paid for the games that were scheduled at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock?
No.
Who pays them?
No, but they did not get paid.
Okay. So the games did not get played. So then in our league, if the game doesn't get paid, why are the referees getting paid?
Well, we're talking about them being on site, Mike. Only.
Yes, I'm saying they were on site. All the referees were on site.
Well, I'm talking about the game was supposed to start. They canceled the game.
What, Mike? I'm gonna back up. I'll have to check out. I'm gonna take that back because.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with you, Mike. The rest of the day they don't get paid.
But I don't know about that totally, Paul. I'd have to check on that.
Could I make a motion to table this?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
So,
Aye.
Thank you, Kai.
It's an open issue.
so I have something similar, but a little bit different that the coach is waiting for an answer. So this is a team that played last weekend. He says, we played 63 minutes of our game. This was Winter Haven Kicks 15 girls, and they were winning 4-2. The game was then called for lightning. I was then advised we would wait the weather out, despite my protest that the game should have been considered final. The center made us come out and play, which resulted in a 4-4 draw. I again protested and offered to show them the rule, in which he declined. So he's asking if...
That's Greg's buddy.
That's not Greg's. I quit talking to that guy.
That's
But
correct.
Merritt,
We're talking to him.
This goes back to the referee really has the say-so as far as the game being canceled, correct? In this case, the referee did not cancel the game. He thought that they could play. This is
And they did.
clearly what we were talking
Suspended.
about.
It's called suspending the match.
Okay.
Right.
And
He
then
waited-
and it was okay to come back to it. We didn't have a time frame.
Well, he waited 30 minutes. That's what's in what Merritt's saying is in the book. He waited the 30 minutes. The weather passed. They finished the game. This guy's trying to get a cheap win and revert the score back to halftime because of the suspension.
Except that we have a rule that says if inclement weather causes a delay and the first half of the game has been completed, the game will be considered final.
No. It doesn't say delayed. It
So
says
delayed, not completed.
Now, what we need to add to that, Sherry, is if there is a delay and the game is then called by the center ref, it reverts back. But if the center ref decides this thing's going to pass, only take a half hour, no more lightning, and you get back out and play the rest of the second half, that score stands.
Yeah, it's a legit thing. Yeah.
Do you think we would be visiting this if you had won?
No, you're new.
Probably
No.
not.
Hey,
Going on
Sherry,
my phone about it.
Sherry, it's on page 19, unplayable conditions. That's what I'm talking about. Well, the referee decided, all he did was suspend the game for lightning. He did not, it wasn't unplayable. It was suspended.
Not abandoned, suspended.
Not abandoned. And they were able to wait out the weather, get the game going, and the team played.
And
Their
I don't have
job
to do
is,
time in this thing.
He should have paid the referee before the game because then he probably would have left.
Guy,
That's why we don't pay.
it was paid in the first half.
You tabled that discussion, Kai.
They shouldn't get paid till they send in the report.
The guy's not questioning the payment. He wants to.
No. What I was saying, it was just no.
He's
If he
being
would have gotten paid before the game, he wouldn't have continued the game. He would have just canceled it. Game over. Win. Done. It was a joke.
It's a new coach. He doesn't know anything. He's looking to win 3 points instead of 1.
well, whatever it is.
It was a legit move by the referee.
That's Sherry, the game stands.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Result stands.
But if he gets back to you, tell him the match was suspension and delayed. It was not canceled.
Okay, got it. No problem. So the only other things I have are just some weird division things. I don't know if everyone wants to stay on for that or what.
Well, I thought we hashed that out. If it's 9, we play 16.
Well, no, it's more like I put all the teams in the divisions, but maybe there's a couple teams that weren't on your list.
Okay.
I'm not sure where they're supposed to go, things like that.
But just deal directly with the people that were involved with the division.
Let me ask you something. The teams that you have that weren't in the divisions, were they at the meeting and did they have their application in before the meeting happened?
Yes.
So we just missed them in some
You
way.
just missed them, correct.
Okay. Well, that happened with Mike's thing, and we went back. If they
So you just want me to send you those as they come up?
send them to me, and I'll get them out to the board. But like in Mike's in FC Tampa's case, that team was in the first division, right? And should have stayed in the first division. And for some reason, they got bumped into the second division because we didn't catch it. We did put them back in the first division, but we made it 9 rather than tell somebody they're out of the division.
Right.
It's going to be the same way here. If we got to shoehorn someone into the first division, that's just going to be unfortunate. But that's if they are supposed to be in the first division, Sherry. We'll look that up and we'll do it one at a time.
All right. So
Are they teams that all asked to be in the first division and were missed?
No, not necessarily. It's just random. A lot of random, like missing
The
things.
crazy thing, I know in all these things we miss somebody. I specifically ask every single team that's there to raise their hand and tell me,
I know.
"This okay?"
I know that. So we got another thing, situation we want to discuss is that next year, these divisions get put out way before the meeting so that we don't have to have the meeting.
Fine by me.
Then you just have to extend the calendar because
Yeah.
there's no way to get all that pulled together in the
They don't
time.
need the time. We'll give them a week.
Well, we'll come together and do it. Hey,
Yeah. Yes.
just to let you guys know, I just spoke to Jim Bars, who was the assigner for the FYSA. You know, and if they bring, even though they bring in all these referees, Mike, I'm not sure what tournament you were talking about.
FSPL. That was the FSPL games this week.
Well, I know if they abandon the games due to weather, the referees do not get paid.
Oh.
Those for the 1 o'clock and the 4 o'clock game.
Yeah, okay.
That's simple. That's
Okay.
simple. How about the guy that's out in the field that calls the game himself because it's light?
You get paid.
He doesn't get paid, right? Screw
Oh.
him. This will save everybody money.
I think if the game gets paid, he has the right to get paid. But if the game is not played at all, there's no reason why the game should be.
Unless it's forfeited.
Well, unless it's forfeit or something like that. But I mean, you know,
Somebody doesn't want to play the game, or they don't have enough players there. They don't, whatever the case.
Well, and if he's smart, I mean, you're giving him an incentive here to start the match no matter what, right?
No, there is an ethical thing, Paul. We hold them accountable.
we can look at all kinds of Mickey Mouse stuff, but the reality is that
We'll have it before the season's over. We'll see it.
But it was tabled. We had tabled that. Let's go.
No, I don't. It's not. You know, if we pay him, don't pay him. No skin off. I'm just saying, once this thing doesn't have a nice, easy solution because there's never. Every time we have a rain out.
Well, listen, obviously the referees have accepted the fact that they don't get paid because FYSA is not paying the referees that were at Auburndale today.
That's correct. If you call it, if you call and say, hey, my thing's canceled today, all our games are canceled, they don't get paid. We're talking about the guys that get there. That's
Well, the referees were there today. The referees were
about a few.
I'm all in favor of not paying them if they cancel a match.
Yeah.
But once they start it, what happens? Pay them, right?
Hey, they got paid.
Well, that's what we did. That's just what we had this weekend. We ended up paying somebody because we had to, and now we have to pay again because the game.
Okay, well.
But now I know we don't have to. Now I know we don't have to pay the second game.
Well,
We tell Jose, get it for the first guy.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say hello. This is Joe. I've been on for about 30 minutes ever
Yeah,
since I
Joe.
got off the practice field. But you guys were having so much fun talking about this ref money. I didn't want
Well,
to interrupt.
the weather thing is impossible to deal with. We have it so often. Some areas raining, guys left. We had teams that drove up somewhere and were pissed because it was clear where they were and it was raining where they drove to. You know, it's Florida.
Yeah. Well, we just had it Wednesday night. We started a match, and 9 minutes in, there was a lightning strike, and we were never able to restart. So the crew got $140 for 9 minutes worth of work, and
Wow.
when we redo the game, we'll have to pay another $140. But I mean, I've been coaching for 10 years. That's the first time that's ever happened. So, you know, we can't have a rule to handle every one-off scenario. It's going to happen.
So Joe, for
Yeah.
everybody else's, how long did you guys wait and then finally decide? Who decided, the referee, or did y'all as a coach say, hey, this ain't gonna go in?
Our site director
Yep.
and the ref came and talked to me and the other. I was the head coach for that game, and they came and talked to me and the other head coach and said, we think that at the soonest we could get started in an hour. We think this cell is going to be here for about another 30 minutes, and then it would be 30 minutes after that for us to start, which would have taken us to about 9 o'clock on a school night with 70 minutes to go in the match. So myself and the other coach made the decision to go ahead and reschedule the game, and along with that, we lose the $140.
Sounds like a proper procedure, doesn't it, Greg?
Unfortunately, you're right.
Joe, you shouldn't have paid the guy before the match.
No.
Yeah.
See, so in reality, the referee didn't make the decision. The coaches made the decisions.
Yeah,
But,
and-
the ref, but no. But the ref is the final guy, unless it's the guys that own the facility. The ref's got to call the match, Merritt, not the coaches, because you'll have coaches calling the match because it's they're down 3-1 and it's starting to.
Yeah, well, the referee, the referee eventually called it because the coaches. But I think that the second game, perhaps the two teams split the fee for the second game.
Are you going to do that,
That's
Johnny?
what I wanted to recommend. Yeah.
Is that what you're going to recommend?
That's not what we're. I mean, that's not what we're doing. We were the home team, so we're paying it for the second time. But again, I would say, this is the first time in 10 years of coaching that I've had this happen. I don't think it's, I don't think it's something that happens a lot.
Merritt, what would you feel about that?
About
the two teams splitting the fee for the referee?
No, actually somebody came to me, and that's what I was proposing initially 20 minutes ago.
Okay. Well, I'll get with the assigners because ultimately they're the ones that have the interface with the referees.
No. The club, the referee's going to get the full amount.
I'm talking about the second time.
The second time, the two teams, that's got to be a league rule, not an assigner rule.
I want to feel them out though. Is what I'm getting at.
They don't care where the money comes from.
Yeah. As long as we as a league make a decision, we can do it.
Yeah, we make the decision, not the assigners don't. They don't care where the money comes from. We're just trying to ease the burden on the team that got caught once, got in a situation once in 10 years.
Okay. What else you got, Sherry?
I think that's all I have.
Okay. I'm looking for a couple people, please. I'll put this out after Kai and Mark and I massage this a little bit. But basically what I'm looking for is I'm looking for somebody to take care of the food and water for the showcase. I already got Kai, Mark, Joe, and Alan pitching other things. I assume, Merritt, I can count on you to take care of the referees.
In what respect?
Scheduling them. I'll show you the format. I'll let you know the format we're going to have and how we're going to have it. But it's going to be, we're probably going to need either 2 or 4, depending on how fit they are. They won't get much of a break in between. Well, they will. They'll get at least an hour in between at some point in time. But once I show you how I have this sorted out, I'll let you know.
Give me a date.
The date right now is January 21st on a Sunday. Okay, I lost the February 24th one due to a parents' weekend at the college. I don't know what that's got to do with the pitch, but there you go. So right now, we're okay then. What Mark and Kai, we can talk after, but what I'm proposing now is January 21st, 36 players, 36 boys, 36 girls. They will play 2 7v7 games. Okay, we'll split them up into groups of 9. So it'll be 4 groups of 9. That gets you your 36, and they'll play 2 games of 7v7. Then there will be breaks in between. Lunches will take place, not scattered, but synced in to where, because the boys will finish an hour or so earlier, they'll take their lunch right after, and then the girls will play their last 7v7 games. Then the boys will be playing 11v11 after that. So both boys and girls get 2 7v7 games, and they each get an 11v11. Okay, so I think we satisfied everybody's fear that there wouldn't be an 11v11 game And we can do this. We can do this all according to my timeline from 9:30, and the last game would end at 4:35. So we beat the darkness. There'll be a staggered lunch if we want. During that lunch, they're going to get roughly an hour and a half of downtime while they're eating. We can have Renee come in and pitch the boys at their time during lunch, and the girls will be right after. So, I mean, and again, that's going to be based on the weather conditions and whether or not they have a hall there that we can get the use of. But again, that'll be tough running players back and forth between the hall and the pitch. So
yeah, it'll also be tough for the kids eating to have to listen.
Right. I wanted them just to eat and relax, let the food settle.
Yeah, I don't think the thing with Renee will work then to me.
Yeah, unless you do it, because everybody's there.
It's not worth $400.
But everybody's there at least till 3:10. 3:15, everybody's there. If we pitch a 6 o'clock meeting somewhere in Pinellas there, if we can find a hall someplace. Anybody have any halls?
We're really not. We're not looking for them particularly. We're looking for any of our kids from 14 to 18. So you really.
Right. All right. Yeah, but you get 72
around that showcase the showcase may just bring up the fact that we're going to do something. Renee's thing may be before or after it, but it's a good time. The time frame makes sense, but. We're looking for a much bigger audience than that, because those guys, by and large, if you get 10% of them, you're really not, it's not worth it. They're going to be tired. I don't see that while you're reading. I don't see that working. I think we just do it in January around the same time.
All right. I don't
know. Let's see how the first ones go. If we get 8 people at each one, we ain't going to worry about it.
All right. That sounds good. Let's see. What do I need here? What I need is, somebody take care of the food, water, and registration desk. Okay. Need like 50 cases of water, blah, 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 whoever can do the food stuff. So, I'm looking for somebody to do that and Kai, along with your other task, and I'll help you with it, but we need to get the grounds crew from your club.
Okay.
We talked about that the other day. The kids that need some college credits, younger ones that are 15 maybe, 15-year-olds. We get them in there so they can move the tents around, help out who's ever in charge of the food at the registration desk, that kind of thing. So it'll be a full day for them. It'll be a cool day for them. They eat and get to watch things. So, Jessica, anything on your end there? Would you be able to help out with that?
I think she's still on mute. Wait, look.
Hey, Greg, Greg, this is Joe. You mentioned my name that I was helping out with something. What is it that I'm helping out with?
The girls players. You.
In a coaching capacity?
You, Stephen Allen, would take care of the girls division. Pick the 36 girls and the coaches to coach the 3 teams or the 4 teams.
Okay.
Now, the criteria, if anybody has anything else with the criteria is basically they have to have a USA club pass, or USA player pass, I'm sorry, from a club that's from USA. A 3.0 and the coach's recommendation. We can talk about anybody that's got a 2.75 mitigating circumstances, but all that's going to be put up. I gave Sherry the form. It's going to get put up on the website in about a week or so, and we'll start getting. We need again.
Wait, are you going to tell them if you don't have a 3.0 not to bother sending anything in, or are we going to look at their GPAs and decide?
We're going to look for criteria. our criteria.
You're going to have them send. You're going to have to
Yeah,
have
they're
them
going to send it in.
We can't get their grades if they don't give them to us.
Right. Well, they're going to have proof of their grades and their player pass when they come to play.
Is that our concern? Is just trying to be a sponsor of the show?
Well, wait, could they send in the grades before they show up to play, then we don't waste a spot?
That's why we got the form.
Okay.
The form's got that on there. It's got their GPA, ACT, and SAT scores.
Okay.
And if they haven't taken them, their ACTs and SATs, then they put a scratch next to it. You know, no, we're not going to broadcast that you can only be 3 from wrong. You know, but certainly those players will have preference. Anything
We probably
else?
want to have those. We probably want to have those qualifications come in like before they leave school for Christmas break, and then they qualify for the tournament.
Yeah.
Well, their first semester grades, they know what their composite GPA is. You know, and they've been in school for 2 years at least, so they know what their GPA is. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking what their current, you know, what their cum GPA is, and if they've taken their test scores, what they are. That's all. And the reason why I'm asking that is because that's what the coaches are asking for.
Right.
Well, all the kids have to do is to go onto their Focus account, and then they can just print it off.
They can do whatever I mean, like I said, it's up to them to do it. It's up to them to do it.
I'm just suggesting that we don't do it the day of the event.
Oh, hell no.
We have a date ahead of time where they pre-qualify for grades, and that way if they're not qualified, then somebody else can go.
What's the cutoff for submitting the application deadline?
Okay, that's a good question. And I was hoping Steve would be here to tell me when's the first semester grades out. Does anybody know that?
Well, but it'll be before Christmas. They're already back in school.
Yeah, but, I know it's not just us down here, but every kid has his own. Ours is called Focus. They all have their own accounts, and it gives you their school.
Online. Yep.
Yeah, and they can Snapchat it or whatever they need to do. So, and you can see the first semester because you can see what their grades are, and you can see their GPA.
It's all there.
Do we have access to that Focus account?
We won't. We can't. Every
We
kid
can't have it. No, we can't have it, but the kids.
does though, and every parent.
Yeah.
So when Joe.
I can find out when it is for Pinellas County Schools.
Yeah, what I'm getting
when the first
at
semester's
is
over and when grades.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is when you're talking to the coaches, ask them if they have their account, and they can go in their account and they can get their GPA and all their garbage that they need. They only need the GPA.
When are we shooting for this?
I would say by December 1st.
Okay.
Okay, because if we're looking at the 21st of January, that doesn't give us much time to get things together.
Yep.
Paul, is the league okay with this 36 players? I guess I'm asking the board. Are we comfortable with the 36 players? We're going to have to get a kit for each of them, and some pennies, because what's going to happen is with those 4 teams, there's going to be 2 groups of 18 playing against each other in the whatchamacallit, in the 11v11. So we'll need pennies for half.
I mean, give us an alternative.
What about T-shirts?
There isn't any, right? Or is there?
No, there probably pretty much isn't. But what's his name's been trying to get
uniforms though. You can just get T-shirts.
I was thinking about just.
Well, but you can get a full uniform from Score for about $15-$16.
Alan's been trying to get a hook into the USA League for the past couple years. Whether it be, and he is looking to give whatever, to give back a little bit. Okay, so it's entirely possible we can probably.
Let's go back to the original question. We are going to provide them. We are going to provide them with the size uniform that will fit them, and it will be a uniform, correct?
It'll be some type of jersey, shorts, and socks, something.
Why don't we ask Score to sponsor it?
Well, this is what we're talking with Alan.
All right. So we're going to have to do that. Let's try and do it as cheaply as possible.
Understood. No, I understand. If we're looking, and I'm sure we can get it for something
I have no problem with it, though. I mean, that's what we committed to do this. We're going to do it, and we're going to see if it makes any sense afterwards. We'll see how much we spent and how good it was, and it'll forever tell us we can do that or not. I mean, I think we haven't done it. We keep talking about doing it. Let's just do it and see what we get.
Do you have an aversion of putting Score's logo on our homepage?
Yeah. Does anybody else care?
Yeah, no, I care if they're not giving us anything. If we buy uniforms of them, why would we?
Well, no, I'm assuming they're gonna get us. We're gonna
get something, Mike. We're not. Like I said, I'll get $10 a kit and the coach's polos free. Something like that.
If it's a good enough deal, Greg, we can say in 10 seconds between us all in one email. So it's a good deal. Go ahead. They're on the website or not.
Yeah.
If the deal sucks, no.
Agreed. Okay.
72 uniforms at $15 a piece is 1,080. So.
Yeah, and their logo on our page goes to what, 10,000 people.
We'll see what they do. Have we got another company?
All he said at the meeting, all he said at the AGM was he wants to get involved. I don't know what.
Well, let's just have Greg talk to him, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
We'll see what he says. I'll see what he says. Come on, you guys know I can beat up people. You know.
Oh, I'm good. I just want to be sure no one's scandalized afterwards. And we got them uniforms. You know, let's all understand.
Right. Understood. Okay. But can we all be looking for sponsors? At least sponsors for the day. Okay. And I know I got one with Aaron's Rents. The guys that's got the rentable furniture and all that kind of garbage. Apparently he wants in because he wants to get the word out across whatever. So I was talking to a guy at the one of our coaches meetings that knows this guy that wants to get in. So again, we'll talk about. I'll listen to him, see what he has to tell me, how much he wants to donate, and then I'll come back to you with it. You tell me what, if you think it's whatever. That's up to you.
What are we gonna put it on?
Sorry.
I mean, are we bulletin or?
We could put it on the back of the jerseys.
Okay.
Or the front of the jerseys. Doesn't make a difference.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Okay.
That's about it. Yeah, like I said, the only thing
I will tell you this. I got $1,500 for a logo on 18 shirts going to England.
Okay.
So there's the standard.
1,500.
Who's the guy? Let's get him.
Yeah.
Mike, 1,500 for how many shirts?
18 shirts. That for shirts that will never be seen in America.
I know. I mean, Mike's standard. Mike's the only guy I've seen that got blood out of a stone at the fields. I mean, it's almost unfair.
Okay. Can I count on anybody else for the food and water?
Can you guys hear me? I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Great.
Yeah, you got a job.
I hear it. Hey, so what are we doing with the food and everything? I mean, is it going to be?
We'll get tables for you, and there'll be some tents, so it'll be undercover. Which DeTilio, by the way, as much as I think he's a Gomer, he volunteered. He'll give us 6 tents, FYSA tents.
Yeah, but
Gotcha.
he'll come back on something on that.
Well, I'm just saying that's what he. That's what he.
For me.
Jessica, what we're looking at.
We have one
I'll
over
tell you in a second. 10.
All right.
I figured, Jessica, what we're looking at doing is we're looking at feeding 100 people. Okay. It could be something as simple as I know when I was taking a high school team on trips, like away games, we would go to Subway, and they'd make us a 6-inch strips and some fruit and a beverage for like $5. Okay, that's reasonable. Okay, we'd have to get it down to about $2 because they'd be getting all the promo on that. But or if you can find something else, it's something that's gonna not irritate the kids' stomach after they've been running their buns off for 2 hours.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Like I said, the number is 50 cases of the pint-sized bottles, or the whatever those are, 16.8 ounces, whatever. We'll need 50 cases of those. Okay. And that's what the ground crew is going to be responsible for, is at the games, make sure, that's like 4 bottles per kid per game, which, again, we're talking January. It shouldn't be terribly hot, but they'll still hydrate themselves, I'm sure. So I'm erring on the positive side there. So the 50 cases of water, we could pay about $200 roughly for that. That's not that expensive. But the lunch, whatever you feel like, whatever you think can be easy, boxed, and or because you don't want a production line with steamers and cookers and all that kind of stuff. But pretty much anything that can be boxed. Come up, be creative. It's all yours.
Okay, will do.
Jeez.
And I can have a taco people out there. How's that sound?
Oh.
Just kidding.
Good for us.
Sherry, the question is, if you could help Jessica, I think the answer is no, but can a food truck handle 36, 40 or 50 people and get them through in a half hour?
Yeah, you could.
Is that possible?
It's possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Depends on the menu and, But
yeah. The Region 3 AGM, what they did, right?
What's that? I'm sorry?
The Region 3 AGM, it didn't take that long to disperse that food, right?
The Region C one?
Yeah.
Oh no, that was actually pretty quick.
Yeah,
it was all pre-made. Like I said, sandwiches and stuff go down a lot easier than baked beans and all that kind of stuff. But you can call or figure it out. I know a truck that does Cubans that has them all pre-made when they come to the site. They'll have 50 or 60 Cubans already done, and then as they take from that, they replenish. So whatever, like I said, it's all yours. Just be creative. Know the date is the 21st right now, January, at Eckerd College.
Got it.
We'll make a budget up for this too, and then get it out to everybody within, say, 2 weeks here, right? Just so no one is alarmed when they see it,
Hey, and the thing here is, if anybody knows somebody in a club that has a business like that, like Sherry has one, maybe we get a couple.
Sherry, yes.
Sherry's been very quiet. Did you notice?
Yeah.
Well,
I hear your husband in the background. He's listening.
Well, it's just there's like licensing issues and stuff, depending where you're going to have it, right? What county and things like that.
Pinellas. So whatever. Okay, just so everybody has got that out there and we know what we're looking for. Like I said, if we get a couple sponsors, that'll wipe out the cost of uniforms. I'm done.
All right, last thing. Social media. We've been talking about getting into the social media, getting a hold of somebody that does it, looking at putting more out there and trying it. We've got right now 2 people sent in, and one of our own members actually talked about doing it too. Now, Kai, I don't know if that would, I don't know what it means with the board, the interaction with the board. Kai was the one that suggested he could do it too. I can ask the lawyer if that's a problem. I don't really know if it is or not. My preference would be Kai only for one reason, because he knows we've got to get content, and that seems to be the most difficult thing. Sherry has got someone, and Kai has got someone that knows the mechanics of getting this online. Our problem is content and going to the clubs and getting them to start feeding the information to that social media person. That to me seems, unless I'm missing something, that seems to be the missing ingredient in our social media package. Am I correct, or is there another reason I don't know about? Somebody.
Without content, you've got nothing. And we need a soccer person that's connected to the game, to the interest of the game, to the feeling of the game, to doing more than what we pay him for. And for me, Kai is the one person that I would say that, and you know, if we can get past the board stuff, that he would be the guy, because we know that he's committed to the game and to how the game should look.
Yeah, as I know it, Mike, and everybody, if anybody on this board renders a service to the board outside of their voluntary status as a board member, then all it says, all the statute that I know of says, and we had to look into it a couple of years ago, is that you've got to pay them fair market value. Then it's an exchange that's outside of the norm of the thing, and they would have to recuse themselves on anything that involved that thing. But everything else is, if you're not paying a board member, $10,000 a month, and it was some shaky thing, I don't believe there's any conflict of interest as I know it. We had to look into it 7 or 8 years ago on our FC Tampa board. And as I got the information back, it was not a matter that a board member can't do it. It's that if you're going to pay a board member to provide a service, that has to be at some market value that is appropriate. But I'll find that out. I don't know what Kai does aside from that, but the back end of it is nobody that knows the people and the things and all of the what's going on right now and all of the soft spots in this market like he would for us. And I don't know if, Kai, give us a proposal of some sort, but if it doesn't work, we can get somebody else, because we can get rid of Kai in a second, man. We'll put a hit out on him. But we have at least two other people, maybe 3. I think Mike's got something too. That we can utilize if we have.
We could put out just I know from which I think what you're addressing is you want it above board, and we just put it out above. We just put out bid. Proposals, request for bid.
I mean, we can bid it, but then you still got to pick somebody, Merritt, and you're not picking. You can't in this thing. My opinion is.
Well, yeah, you can. You can write the bid. Have you ever been a government? You've read those government bids.
Yeah, but that's why the government. That's why everything that they do falls apart, is because the low bidders.
But nobody.
We don't need the low bidder. We need the best person to do it. It has to be. But I'll tell you, we can, once we get these, we already have 3 bids in, Merritt. Once we have that, we can at least have a guideline as to what is.
Yeah, but what did you have on your bid request? What's the criteria?
We don't have a bid request, and we're not going to get one.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. We want a guy that's
the RF
background and all that stuff.
He simply says that we need.
I can send you the proposals we got. That should outline fairly well.
You had to come over here.
But I'm not going to write. I'm not going to, unless someone wants to write up a prospectus.
Criteria.
I'm going to do it.
Well, that's how you do it.
Yeah, but we don't. That's why we don't have anybody doing it, Merritt, because no one is going to take the 6 months it takes to get that done in our spare time. I'm not. And now if someone.
Well, you could start with sending out the 2 proposals that we have.
I think Sherry, you got them. If someone sent two to me, so I got 2. I don't know. I didn't realize you guys didn't get them.
I have one I know of. I'm not sure about the second.
And Kai, you send me one.
Yeah, I send you one.
You gotta give us one.
So send them out, send them
But
to.
Kai, you gotta
everybody.
you,
And they
you
were
gotta
pretty
send
good,
us one as
man. Read
well.
them. They're pretty.
Well, I mean, until Paul figures out the end of, I can send one, but as long as it's okay on the board end that Paul's looking into.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kai, I'm 98%. I mean, the lawyer we went to, it was, I think it was Rich Bauer, I believe. But Rich came back and had a whole thing on it and said, and it was 5 or 6 years ago, USA, and it was perfectly, as long as it was appropriate as far as the market value of it is, there was no conflict of interest. Now, you would have to step out if there happened to be a vote for it or something like that. But
Just want to make sure I don't provide the FYSA with any ammunition, you know.
No, I'll get back to that same guy we used or somebody else, but I'm 98% sure we went through it once, and I was surprised, and then it seemed reasonable. But, board members can engage in business with a organization. It's that it's got to be an arm's length transaction or the appearance of an arm's length transaction.
Yeah.
But I will check that out. I will double check, making sure FYSA doesn't get us all. Merritt, check out the two you see. They have a pretty good outline, I thought, Kai. Did you not? And Sherry's is the same thing. They have how many they're going to do per month or time, what they're going to do, you know. And it's pretty clear.
I'm going to write up some new bylaws. So.
Attaboy.
I mean, for now, we can table them. I mean, our next meeting is in a couple of weeks, right?
Yes, we'll go back to the normal schedule, unfortunately. Yep. This one, we just had to straighten out some of this division stuff. The division stuff we haven't straightened out, but I mean, we'll have to come up with something. Start thinking about that now, because you guys that are, and everybody's there. I mean, you guys that are in Division 2 and 3, in no way we get 18, never. And then you start to try and separate them by geography. Sometimes it's beautiful and it actually works. Most times it ain't even close. It used to be we had guys out east where Allen was. We'd have 5 or 6 of them, but you could even go east-west. But, man, that wasn't the case this year in a couple of the divisions. So, and then if you try and put those guys together, you have guys way out east and way down south, and that's just unfair.
Oh.
We let Auburndale out of the one. I mean, and I got it when I thought about the drive.
So we figured out tonight by the vote what to do with 19.
Yeah, so we're good for 16 games. Are we good for more than that? That's the question.
No.
So we cap it at 16, 14, 16?
Yeah, 16.
Well,
But
okay,
anyway,
so but how about everybody? So we all the 9s get 16. That's good. How about 10? I was thinking about that because we get 10, 11, 12, 13. Once we get up to 14 or 15, it gets easy also. Play each other once, that's fantastic. It's those in-between numbers and we get a lot of them. 10, 11, 12, you know. You take a look at the divisions. Just go in there and take a look at what you got in them. And it's
Kai, was that you asking for adjournment?
What?
No, that was me.
That was you. Okay.
Well, Mike, we got a quorum now. You can drive. I mean, we're good, right? I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm good.
But we need to get at that issue, Kai. If you take a look at that, if you guys would send that out to everybody so they had that, and then Kai just dribble something up so we have an idea also. All right.
Okay.
Because we should get moving on that. If we're going to do it, just like this other stuff, we're going to do it. Let's just get at it. You know?
Okay.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Bye.
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 All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Favor, bye.
Thank you. Hey, don't go nowhere, Kai and Mark.
Okay.
Everybody in the meantime, start thinking about that division thing. We should get that set, and that'd be great for next year. really save us time. All right, buddy.
All right. Kai, Mark,
Yeah.
do you, I just got a message from Joe, and I guess we probably overlooked the fact that if there were injuries, okay, who do we pick next? Should we have a backup list just in case?
Well, I think you should have a waiting list, yeah.
Okay, you're good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that because I think that we're going to have a lot of applications to look at, and there's a lot of kids that want to get in that might not, and we may have to drop below to 3-0 even to fill that injury, but we'd have the information with us that
Sure.
would be the closest kid.
Okay, all right, sure, it's possible. We may have to drop, hey, you never know. But like I said, I've been sitting here for the last week and a half trying to rack my brains out I had enough time because I was in the hospital. So I had enough time to sit there and rack my brains. But I thought the 2 games for the boys, 2 games for the girls of 7v7, and then a full 11v11 match, 35-minute halves or something.
Yeah, that's good.
You guys are comfortable with that format?
Your schedule, I like it. I mean,
Yeah, that's good.
And we interchange, like when the boys are done with their last game, they take lunch while the girls are playing their next game.
Yep.
Okay, so that when the girls are done, they take lunch, and the boys are already into their 11v11.
That's cool.
I put the onus on Merritt so everybody could hear to do the scheduling of the referees, because I don't know what's going to be available on the 24th. But what do you feel we should pay for the 7v7? It's going to be one ref, just one doing offsides and everything. That's what they use now in the Tampa leagues, Tampa Sports, whatever that is. I mean,
$40.
okay, I hear 40. Is that reasonable?
how long are the games?
40 minutes. That's for the 7v7s.
Yeah.
So how? Let's say we're going to have what, 3-4 refs?
Well, that's what we have to figure out because we're going to need 3 for the 11v11 for both. So what I'm thinking on doing is having a set of referees come in just for the 11v11 games. They'll get 2 games. Because if they're doing the 7v7s, they don't get much of a rest. They get like an hour's rest. And then they got to be on the field for 2 big games. So, I mean, that's you're looking at 2 referees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're looking at 8 games for the 7v7. The referees will make 40 a game. 320, 160. They get $160 for 3 or 4 hours. That's pretty reasonable, isn't it?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the ref fees. I don't even know what they are. Sherry, you know off the top of your head what the centers get?
For what age group?
16 and above, let's say.
Hold on 1 second. I'll tell you.
70 or 75?
Yeah, 7. Hey, Greg, why don't we give all the referees like a salary for the day, and then we can use them any way we want?
I thought about that, but they're going to be whacked out, dude. Seriously, the hardest part is keeping up with the 7v7 shit because there's only one referee out there per game.
Yeah, but I mean, if they do their job, right? I mean, I see a lot of referees just never leaving a center circle.
Yeah, that's true. True.
It's $70, Greg.
It's 70 for the center.
Yeah.
Okay, and the ARs get 35 each.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, and like I said, if we just had 2 referees for the 7v7 stuff, and then had 3 different referees for the other ones, they're going to make those 3 referees are going to make 140 or 70 for 2 games. So that's not too bad.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. I need to give Merit straightforward. You know, this is the way it is. This, you know how Merit is. It's got to be straightforward, and it's got to be all written down as to how many we use. So, if you can find anybody that has any sponsorship, that'd be great too. We'll see what we can work on. But so here's the only problem we may have is that this guy Marcus, who's the facility manager for Eckerd, is going to come back and tell me, well, no, the 24th won't work. Well, and we'll be working Sundays down January, February till we find one, or we go do and it's literally I would have to do battle with the sports commission out in Wesley Chapel, which is part of it's not only the sports commission there that does all the stuff, but then it's the Parks and Recreation that schedules that field.
Well, let's wait and see what Eckerd says.
Yeah,
I'd rather be on a college campus.
I think it's a great facility. It's pretty much centrally located, pretty much. Easy to get to, 275, bada boom, bada bing, you're there. It's no big deal. So I'm just hoping that this comes off. I know the coaches wanted to, so we'll go from there. It should be December 1st. Sound like a good day for a cutoff date?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can put that down, Sherry, with the form.
Yeah, that's why I hung out, just to see if you can do anything.
December 1st will be the cutoff date.
Yeah.
For them to apply, and then I can download it, or whichever, we can download it, put it in an Excel format, and get it out to everybody so they have it. So we know what we're missing in which age groups, because I really don't want to see 16 boys have 36 defenders. You know what I mean? We could change. And we did. We changed at the Rice thing. We changed some midfielders to defenders. And they were happy. They still got to run the field and got to play pretty much the whole game. So, again, we'll leave it up to those other guys to pick the coaches and what have you. And Mark, if you want to do, if you and I or Kai, the 3 of us want to do the 11v11 for the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you okay with that, Kai?
Yep.
Okay, the 3 of us can do the boys, and we'll just let the other 3 do the girls on the other side. So, we don't have to pull down coaches. The thing is, I don't want coaches to spend the whole day there if they don't have to. You know what I mean? They may come in for the first 4 games or the first 2 games and lunch. Then they're gonna say, well, okay, I'm done for the day or whatever. So that's okay. We can pick up the slack on that end. Anything else that we need to discuss or get tied up? You in good shape?
No, go ahead, Kai.
No, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think we do a better job of it when we're going back and forth on email, because then we get a chance to look at it.
Right.
Like we put the schedule over, Greg. So, I thought their schedule was good, and, and we just talked about it. So,
yeah,
I'll put it out. The only other thing I could think of is that would we want to get the 36 boys and the 36 girls together one time before the event, just to see what we have?
That's not a bad idea. It would have to be on the Sunday.
Right.
It'd have to be on a Sunday prior to that. I can leave that up to the coaches if they want to get them together. And plus, we can always just distribute uniforms at the field. Again, I don't want the coaches passing out uniforms to kids that, oops, I forgot the kid's on an ECNL team. Okay, there goes our uniform for somebody that deserves it.
Yep.
So, they can get together all they want. We won't give them anything till the day of.
Right.
They come through. We register them. They're cool. They get a kit. I like the idea of a kit as opposed to a shirt.
No, listen, we got to do this right. And because
Right, exactly. I think, and again, you know, by the time you take a look at even a $6 or $8 shirt, by the time you get it lettered up, you know, and the screen print charge and all that, you're looking at a $13 shirt.
yeah, I mean, I just don't like half-assing things because it's our reputation. If we want to build a
Sure.
league, that's got to be done right.
I agree. Okay, if we have anything more, let's just whatchamacallit, email. I'll get this out to everybody.
Okay.
All right, I'll get this out about everything there and who's doing what and however, and we should be all set.
Okay. So we're just waiting for Eckerd College to give
Yeah,
the blessing.
we're just waiting for the okay to use it, and boom, then everything's flying. I'm hoping to get that within the week.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
All right.
Yep, bye.
Yeah, Sherry.
Just a question. I wasn't ignoring you when you asked about the food truck. Are there going to be like spectators there as well? Like, are you going to need food for the spectators?
Probably hold that thought for 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And we can talk about it later. I wasn't exactly sure what you were asking, but I felt